All right, good. That should give us some sound. Yep, okay, good. We got sound. It's always nice to have sound. All right, so welcome to our DCC session. One-on-one, we are playing Dungeon Crawl Classics. Look at that beast. This is like mostly spells. And I think that last session, Nikki cast every one of them. So we have nothing left to do. And we are using as a kind of a world the Thousand Islands zines, which you can buy in PDF. I just printed this one, but I think you can actually get them printed now too. I'm not sure, but you can go onto their 1000islands.com and buy them. They're like $5 or something like that. They weren't very expensive. They're super cool. But don't you do that, Nikki, because then you'll be cheating.
Right.
Not that it'll matter. All right, so we've been traveling. We'll assume that you got to the river and got a canoe, and you've been traveling for a few days. So maybe we can intro your characters. Maybe tell us a little bit about what happened last time, and where you're at in life as you're kind of cruising up the river. It's about a 5 days journey upriver to get to the village that you're looking for, the civilization of the crocodiles people. Go for it.
Okay. So Yuna and Orin. Yuna is a thief and Orin is a wizard. We're escorting a young girl to be married to a crocodile in a diplomatic marriage. And Yuna was on the fence about it as she had escaped her own arranged marriage and is kind of still on the run from that. And when her horses all of a sudden turned into men, Yuna was knocked unconscious, and Orin had to use, as you say, almost every spell he had to try to escape, but he did manage to make the horsemen run away. When they got back to town, they were greeted by a suave gentleman who said that he was going to keep Marie, and Marie seemed to want to stay. So Yuna, being the nice girl that she is, agreed to take the 60 coins and leave Marie in relative happiness, I suppose. And they got back on the man horses and rode to the water. Yuna is thinking that at least Marie will not have to marry a crocodile. Orin is thinking that he really got lucky and probably needs to work on some more spells. But they're both pretty happy that the way things turned out, and they are ready to find their fortunes in the Death Roll Kingdom.
Right. Heading upriver. Yeah. 5 days upriver to the Death Roll Kingdoms. So you've been traveling for, the good bit of 4 days. You think that you'll probably get there, by end of day. Today it's early in the morning. You're kind of packing up camp on the side of the river. The river itself is pretty much, it's wide. As we talked about before, in some places it's up to a mile wide, but as you're going upriver, it's getting more and more narrow. I mean, it's no more than, maybe a quarter mile at the widest in most areas that you're finding. There have been some small islands kind of starting to dot the river that doesn't seem to be at least permanently occupied by, any sentient beings. So you've been camping maybe on those small islands to stay away from any animals. But this night you camped on the shore as there were no islands. And as you're kind of packing up and getting ready to get into your canoe there, your camp, the brush around your camp starts shaking, and this is a theme with me, I think. An old man who looks quite beaten. There's blood coming down, kind of crusted all of his face and his beard. He is wearing clothing that looks like it's torn, like recently torn, not like would be nice clothing, but not super nice, but like normal clothing that is torn. And he kind of stumbles in and actually falls almost to his knees, or to his knees, I should say, almost on his face. And he looks up at you and he says, "Water, please."
Orin will say, "Look, we should give him some water, and we'll get him pour some water out of our water skin and give it to the man."
Okay. Yeah, he drinks greedily of the water. He's you can see that he's having trouble keeping his eye open because you can see. I mean, as you're looking at him, it looks like he was in some kind of a fight. He doesn't seem to be like cut like from a sword, more like gashes from maybe something blunt that could have done it. Like it's kind of swollen on the side of his face. Like I say, his eye is all puffy. There's like all this blood coming down. But he drinks greedily and he says he's kind of looking and he says, you must help me. My granddaughter, she was taken.
Your granddaughter was taken? Wait, what happened to you? Who took your granddaughter?
Two men took her, and they took all the coin I had. I was bringing her to the south, uh, to the Southlands. They,
Why were you bringing her down here?
my son and his wife were killed about a week ago, and such a young girl in such a terrible area, she would be quickly overwhelmed by suitors that were not of the type that I would prefer her to be with. So I took all I had. I sold what I had and had I don't care about the gold, but I took the gold and we were heading south. I've heard there's a place in the south where you can trade a boat for horses.
Well, there is a place like that. Come, sit here, and I'll offer him a place to sit.
Yeah, he probably was like laying on his side for the most part. He gets up, and you can see that he's wobbly on his feet, and he kind of like moves closer or whatever, maybe to your main camp area, and sits down, and he kind of he drinks a little bit more of the water and kind of sloshes it around and kind of tries to wipe his face a little bit, and he says, "We were trying to get a move on early, just before the sun would come up, so that we could miss the hottest part of the day, and." Out of nowhere, I felt a blow across my head and more across my back. And I think I may have been unconscious for a few moments, but when I opened my eye again, I could see two men dragging her away, and I could hear her screams, but I could barely stand. When I tried, I fell. And he kind of looks up at the sky. He says, "It must have been maybe 2 hours ago. I couldn't walk." And he starts to weep a little bit.
I look at Orin, and we kind of nod at each other, and I say, "Did you see which direction they took her?"
They went up into the ruins, I believe. I can't believe anyone would be up there. They are full of ghosts and demons of an ancient time. But perhaps the bandits have found a safe place or a passage through. I don't know. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for a girl. It'd be very dangerous for you. I have. He starts looking. He says, I have nothing to offer. If you find her, you can keep the sack of gold. I don't care about that, but please help."
Are you sure they were men that took her?
I only saw their backs, but I believe so.
All right. Well, certainly I can't leave the young girl in danger, dragged off by bandits. So I will help you. We will help you. Orin will nod. Yep.
Orange is along for the ride.
For now.
Right. That's fun. So he thanks you. He says, "Good, I can lead you." And he starts to get up, and you can see that he's not really walking very well. And he says, I can bring you to where they accosted me. The trail seemed easy enough to follow. I knew I would not be able to beat them alone, and thought if I headed to the river, I could flag down a boat. I was happy to found you here.
Well, yes, lead us to where the attack took place, and then you should probably stay behind. You don't look in any shape to come into the ruins.
He kind of thinks, he says, "You're probably right," and he kind of like looks down, and you can see that he's assessing himself, and he says, "I'll bring you. Uh, I'll bring you. And like I say, please bring her back. You can keep the gold." And he starts to get up, and he walks towards like the bushes and stuff. You can see that he's like limping, um, but he's moving, at a slow pace, back up from the direction that he came, which is kind of like to the, you're heading north up the river. He's kind of going inland a bit, so maybe like northeastish, as he follows the side of the river. If you were to follow him,
Yeah, I will gather up my gear and follow him. And as we're walking, I will say, "What is your granddaughter's name?"
Carla,
Arla.
Carla.
Carla. How old is she?
She is 14.
Oh, so still very young yet.
Yes, yes. Just at the age that those with certain types of thoughts start looking.
Yes. How did her parents die again?
It was a fishing accident. The boat was overturned. They drowned.
Okay. And you are her only family?
Yes.
I'll look at Orin and I will say, "We'll make sure that if we find this girl, we try to talk to her before we bring her back to him. I mean, he might be her grandfather and he might not. So that's what I will say to Orin."
You say that in front of the guy?
No, we're kind of following behind him. I would kind of be discreet about
Okay.
it.
All right. I
Yeah.
thought you were like
No, not in front of the guy. No.
calling him out. Poor old guy.
No, but that's what she's thinking right now. So
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so he brings you to the spot where you can clearly see that there was a very minor with him, because you can kind of see there's just like a pool of blood on the ground and not like a lot of scuffle of feet. And then you can see maybe like a few yards off where there was probably some kind of a wrestle. You can see lots of scuffles of feet. You can see some torn clothing, like like not armor, but just like clothing, possibly from the girl. And no blood there though. So as far as you can tell, nobody was injured in any kind of serious way there. But you do note that there's at least two, if not more, sets of boots, like man-sized boots, and then like tracks from sandals.
sandals.
Small sandaled feet, which would be probably the girl, if you were to ask the old man, whose name is.
Oh yes. What's his name?
I don't know what's his name. Give me a name for the old man.
The old man. We'll call him Darren.
Darren. All right, that makes sense. All right, yeah, Darren, the old man. Yeah, he would identify both some of the pieces of like scraps of cloth that you see like that are like, because there's bushes and stuff, so you find some scraps, and the sandal marks to be her. Um, he would identify that, and it's pretty clear which direction they went. She was also struggling, it looks like, because you can see like literally like every 10 15 feet you see like scuffle, where the dirt's like thrown up, where maybe she was trying to run away or whatever.
I'll ask the old man. This area is not known for being particularly safe. Why wouldn't you hire at least one bodyguard to escort you and the girl?
It's hard to trust anyone around here.
Well, I certainly understand that. That's certainly true.
When you're an old man like me and a young, helpless girl, anyone could take advantage of you.
True. Well, you're lucky, because we don't do that kind of thing.
Yes, well,
Right, Orin?
yeah, and he tells you that normally what he might have done was gone to, to some of the crocodiles to get, support, but it's mating season for them, and he was just very nervous that they would either try to take him as her as a concubine, or possibly eat her because they have to eat after they mate.
Well, that's understandable
Hmm.
that you wouldn't want to approach them during this time.
Oh, I thought you meant about eating after you mate, which is also honest.
Also understandable, yes. All right. Hmm. You wait here. We will try to follow and see if we can help your granddaughter.
Okay, yeah, he says okay. Um, this is basically the middle of a path, so he's gonna find a spot where he can maybe like get some shelter, and he'll point it out to you. So he's not standing in the middle of the path all day, But yeah, in the
Right.
general area, he basically finds a little nook, because he's also pretty hurt. So he's going to get like in some trees and maybe get a stick to like defend himself if any animals come or whatever. And he says, I don't care for my own life. If I were to die, I wouldn't care, but I wouldn't want to die until I knew that she was safe. And then he plops down on the ground.
I will begin to follow the tracks.
Okay, yeah, definitely do that. I mean, it's like I said, it's pretty clear that she was struggling. And as you get like further up and you see like lots of these little kind of like say every 10, 15 feet you see these struggles. After about maybe like 150 yards, so you're far away from the guy by now because it's a windy trail through the woods. Um,
Hmm.
there seems to be like a more of a scuffle, like the biggest one you've seen so far, and then from that you just see two sets of boots walking away. Like you don't see the sandal feet anymore.
Okay. So what's this area look like that has the no sandaled feet?
So it basically looks like the path you've been following. It looks like possibly she was again maybe trying to get away or whatever, and a scuffle happened. So it's a bit of a wider area of the path, maybe like 10 feet ish wide. The ground it's a forest, so it's mostly just kind of dirt with some like pine needles and that type of stuff. It's pretty soft, although there are some rocks, but it's not like rocky. Um, so you can clearly see, footprints where they walked up to this spot. You could see the tussle of the pine needles everywhere, and then you could also see the footprints of the two booted figures walking away.
If I look off the path into the forest or the brush, do I see anything unusual? Any scraps of clothing? Any dropped items? Anything that would indicate the girl was either left here or got away here or something happened?
Sure, you can just. What's your background again?
Background?
Backgrounds, yeah, because that affects us.
The neutral, you mean? The alignment?
No, no, your background. Like, what did you do before you? Don't you have a background?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, locksmith.
Yeah. And what about
I was a
Orin?
locksmith and Orin was an alchemist.
Ah, yes. Okay. So yeah, so the way that it works in DCC, if you're trying to do something that is like not part of like a normal skill thing, you can still do it, of course. But because you are not trained in it, you're going to roll a lower die. So
Okay.
you're gonna roll. We'll say. I mean, this is something that everybody should be able to do on some level, like a basic investigation. So I'll have you roll a d16 because there's nothing to give you
D6.
really any kind of a bonus to that. But you can add your indoor wisdom bonus if you have one, and you can each roll, of course.
Alrighty.
And you're trying for a 12.
Oh, well, I rolled, Una rolled a 12 and Orin rolled 14, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, so you're looking around and you can see some broken branches and you kind of like looking and you're pretty sure that nobody ran into the woods. And then as you're kind of looking at the footprints, you notice that one of the sets of footprints leaving seems to be making like a much deeper impression than it did when it was walking there, as if possibly it was carrying weight.
Ah, I see. So I will look at Orin and I'll say, I think they might have knocked her out here, and she might be being carried at this point. We should proceed with caution, and I will keep following the tracks.
Okay, excellent. Let me use my dice roller because I'm using the crawler, which by the way is anybody watching this plays DCC on a computer is worth having because you can roll a million dice all at once. As a GM, anyways, it's good. Yeah, so you travel along for maybe like another like half an hour, and you actually hear ahead of you on the trail, which sounds to be possibly some kind of possibly a wolf or some kind of wild animal. You hear it's kind of growling and like some kind of like a little bit of a show of force. Like it's not like they're fighting; they're not yelping and stuff, but they sound like animals that are kind of like uh, aggressive towards each other. They kind of growl and stuff like that. You hear that growling kind of sound.
Okay. I will try to sneak silently. I will tell Orin to stand back
Okay.
and see what's going on. I
All
have
right, go
that
ahead.
ability.
Yeah, go ahead and make that roll. You'll need a DC 10 to succeed here, so you can go ahead and roll
All right. Yes, 14.
it. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, so you're moving right along. There, you see, two wolves. They're not really noticing you. I mean, you were pretty quiet anyways, but partially because they seem to be uh, arguing. I don't know if that's the right word for wolves. They're basically both growling at each other over what is a body. You see a body of a man. He's clad in leather armor. Um, he's laying in a very large pool of blood. And the two wolves are kind of like on either side of his body, kind of like that kind of thing. Like both of them want to eat him.
That I would like to try to scare the wolves away from the body so that I can get a look at it.
All right, how you gonna do that?
I'm going to throw sling stones. I'm going to sling stone them
Okay,
just
you're
to
just gonna
try to
pelt him.
scare them
You're gonna
away.
pelt him with a
Yes, pelt
slingstone.
them.
All
Yes.
right, go ahead. Make an attack roll.
Oh crap. No, 10.
10. Okay. Let me. I should have been ready and had the wolf's armor class and stuff up. Um, okay. Yeah, the slingstone kind of hits on the ground near the wolves, and they kind of stop for a second. And they're kind of looking around a bit nervously because something just landed on the ground near them. Um, I'm gonna say they still don't see you at this exact moment, but they see you've definitely got their attention. Um, they're not running away though at this moment. They're just kind of like they're both a bit on the defensive, but of course they're also fighting each other, so they're kind of having that like kind of feel.
All right, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to light a torch because most animals are afraid of fire.
Okay.
And I'm just going to walk into the clearing and swing it at them.
Oh, bold. A bold move. All
Yes.
right. Yeah, you do it. Sure. Let me see. I'm gonna have them. What's your charisma? There's charisma and personality, I guess we called you.
Personality is 15 for
Oh,
Una.
okay. Yes, so that's a bonus then, right?
+1, yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. So they're gonna make a will save.
Yeah, and I'm waving the torch. Away! Get away from it! From that! Get away!
Okay, awesome. Well, oh, yeah. As they made a will save and got a 2, um, yeah, they see you, and maybe these animals, are not used to seeing people. That's for sure. So to see somebody actually commanding fire is quite shocking to them. And they look, and you can see the fire reflecting in their eyes and the fear. And they maybe pause, one of them anyways, maybe for like a second, looking at the body, and then they just take off into the woods, and at a run.
Nice.
Well done.
Now I can inspect the body. I will call Orin up
Yeah.
so he can come up so that we can look at the body and figure out what happened if we can.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's fairly obvious. Luckily, you found it quickly. The dice are on your side today. So you see like a couple of areas where like the leather armor, like maybe or like the hands, we'll say that's probably the way it went first, or the feet. They look like they've been bit. You can see some bite marks. Maybe even like some fingers missing or whatever. But you can clearly see that two things. Number one, the blood itself is a little bit dry under the body. And also, what likely killed this person is the hole in their chest that looks like it was clearly made by a sword or a knife or something. That is basically a big chunk, a slice in their chest. Or more precisely, because you're a thief, you can see it's pretty small in the front, and when you kind of roll the body, you can see it's bigger in the back. So they were clearly stabbed through the back, through their heart, and fell to the ground and died.
Well, this is curious.
Yeah, he's like it's a man, a human, and he's maybe like in his like young 20s, kind of rough looking. You can actually get a little odor on him, like he's maybe not in the civilization too often, so doesn't bathe that often. I mean, he's not like disgusting with like worms or whatever, but he's certainly not, certainly didn't take a bath this morning. The armor that he's in is leather armor, but nothing super fancy. You can see that he's armed with a dagger, which is on his belt and was not drawn. And if you kind of search around the area a bit, you see that there is like a cudgel, a club, like just laying on the ground, off to the side. You would probably also notice just by those kind of common sense stuff is that he was probably wearing boots because you were following him. He had boots on, and as I mentioned, they were biting his feet. He had no shoes on, so his boots are missing.
Boots are missing.
Yeah.
Does he have any kind of... I'll make Orin do it since he's kind of stinky. So see if he has a belt pouch with some kind of... Maybe there's a note or a scroll or something that can identify who these people are.
Nice. Yes, you look around and you don't find a belt pouch, but what you do find is that his belt actually has been severed, um, as if somebody like cut the pouch off. So like you can see the dagger. People are gonna see me, but you can see the dagger like in near the front where it would be. But then when you kind of go to the side where the belt pouch would be, you lift up and you can see the belt's actually broken. Like there may have been something on there, and somebody just like didn't take the time to undo the belt to take it off. They just hastily cut it off. He doesn't have any kind of valuables on him at all either, or any other kind of. Uh, it looks like he's been basically stripped clean, except for the
He's been
knife.
looted.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody looted the body.
Yes, they did.
It probably wasn't the wolves.
I look at Orin and I say, I wonder if this was a no honor among thieves situation, since the old man said there were a couple of them. And it's possible that they were attacking each other. Now we're really going to have to be careful. If they'll attack each other, yeah, they won't have any qualms killing us. So, which direction do the tracks head off?
They more or less continue in the same direction, kind of what would be more or less away from the. So I guess I should probably describe this. The river's in like a bit of a valley, so you're kind of going up, if you will. You know, like you're definitely going to higher ground, which at first was
Oh,
kind of like a northeasterly kind of thing. Now you're heading more to the east, but basically it's going in the same direction in the sense that it's going away from the river. You know,
well, if I
more into.
can, well, I was gonna try to pile up some stones around this guy, but I don't think I have time for that. So I don't want the wolves to eat him, but
I
don't think
mean, you
there's
could
time
do
for that.
it. Yeah, it'll take a while if you want to do that. I mean, you would imagine he's been dead for at least an hour, maybe 2 hours, which is probably about as much jump as they have on you. So you're basically timetable wise, it's not like they were sitting around. I guess is my point. You would be able to tell that they basically took the girl, if this is all true, and started heading this way, and then had some kind of struggle. Somehow one of them was killed, uh, and the others or other kept moving.
Yeah, Orin will say to Yuna, he's dead now and has no use for his body. Let's just continue. So we will continue on. We will
Okay.
try to be. Orin's not that sneaky, but we will try to be as sneaky as possible
Okay.
as we
Yeah.
are walking the woods.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're traveling. Um, up again. Now at this point, there's certainly, I guess, what would be called a trail. I mean, because first of all, you're following somebody, so there's a trail in that sense. But the trail is more like the easiest way to make it through the trees, not so much a trail like it was cut by somebody, if that makes sense. So it's not like you're on a road or even like a more well-traveled trail. So you're basically just going through the woods. But like when you walk through the woods, like there's just clearly a path, like you can kind of see it and you're
Yes,
kind of following it. That's kind of what you're
yes,
following now. Yeah. Um, You do notice after about maybe another like quarter mile or so of walking that because it's been pretty easy to follow these footprints. That now uh, the person that you're following. By the way, you only saw one set of footprints leaving, so you can be pretty sure there's only one person. Um, Now they seem to be dragging something. Like you're
oh
seeing
no.
less footprints, and you're seeing basically like a scrape of drag.
Well, we can hope maybe the girl came to life or woke up and got the jump on these guys, and she's the one who's dragging somebody, but I don't think that's the case. And why wouldn't she go back to her grandfather if that was the case? Um, there's just something being dragged at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to make out what it would be. I mean, you could, you could make another, you could roll another roll, a d16 plus any kind of,
D16. Yeah, see if there's any gouges in the dirt, like someone's trying to stop with their nails or something, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Oh, don't drop my dice. 9.
yeah. It's unclear. It's definitely something being dragged, but you don't see any very distinct things. So you don't see any like hand marks or foot marks or any kind of cloth being left or scraps of hair. You just basically see that there's just some kind of form being dragged. Maybe here the ground is a bit harder. There's less pine needles and stuff, so you're just seeing like more scrape stuff. And you're probably more
Scraped.
noticing it because the footprints themselves are basically being a bit more obscured by whatever's being dragged. That's probably why it's more noticeable than anything else. Okay. So yeah, so you travel for a bit further, and you see almost like eerily spring up, for lack of a better word, because you're not really aware that you're approaching it until you're like right there. Um, you kind of see like maybe 10, 15 feet in front of you what looks to be the ruined remains of a wall. It's only about maybe 2, 3 feet at the tallest in areas because it's very much knocked over. Um, but and it's covered in moss. It's kind of crumbled. But beyond that, like about 100 feet beyond that, you see what is a much better shaped wall, which is some 10 feet tall, and with a clearly designated like opening, like a gate. It doesn't have a gate in it, but like an opening where a gate would be. There's a few small trees that are growing like in that space in between, but not many. So it's almost like probably what you notice first is how bright it is compared to the rest of the forest. Like all of a sudden in front of you, you can see brightness. And then when you kind of look down, you see, oh, hold on, there's like a broken wall here. And then you're like, oh, whoa, out there, that looks like another wall. Like it looks like a pretty substantial 10 foot tall wall. That wall that's further away, you can tell too from your position is that it's also covered in like vines and mosses and stuff. So from a distance, that's probably why you didn't see it. It was very camouflaged.
So I'm kind of on the edge of the forest.
Yeah, I mean, if
Looking.
you look, like if you go kind of near the edge of the wall and you start the small wall and you kind of look around, you can see that the forest doesn't end. It's more like this structure or whatever it is in the was here, and the forest grew up around it. So you would imagine, I mean, you could try to circle around it to see if this is true, but based on what you can tell from where you're standing, just looking left and right, it looks like the forest just goes around this. It's not like you've hit the end of the forest.
I see. Can I climb a tree and see what I can see if there's anything in the ruins?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yes, plenty of trees. So you can climb up a tree. You climb up, and you can see indeed, yeah, the initial thought is true. That it looks like this is like kind of sprung up. Well, sprung up. It's been here a long time. Well, the forest sprung up around it. Um, there is the outer wall that's all crumbled, which you can see. In various areas, it stands taller or shorter, and in various areas, is more or less kind of small trees, kind of growing in that gap in between. But for the most part, the taller wall in the center is pretty solid. It looks like you see the big entranceway. Beyond that, though, there's maybe like a bit more of a courtyard, and then you see what looks to be um, a dozen or more smallish stone structures that look like they've collapsed over with age, and you can see that there's like uh, again moss and vines and stuff all around them, almost like if they were like 10 or 15 foot square structures, they've kind of collapsed on themselves. You could see what was probably an area where there was a well, but most prominently, pretty much dead center, you see what is kind of like a small, for lack of a better word, like a keep, like a structure, like a small tower. It's maybe 30 foot tall. It's square. It's quite ancient, from what you can tell. And while it does have some kind of moss and stuff on it, it seems to be the most uh, intact of everything that you can tell that you've seen from this distance, anyways. And it has actually on it, facing you, so almost directly facing the main entrance gate, a very large door, some 12 feet tall, double doors that seem to be made out of bronze, although they're quite green now with age.
Is Do I see any movement of any kind besides, animals or
Oh,
birds?
that's a good point. Yeah, no. Not only do you not see any movement, you notice all of a sudden, as you're kind of thinking about that you don't hear any birds
No
or any
birds.
animals. It's absolutely dead quiet, which you don't recall. Like you don't have exactly in your mind when that started. Like there was definitely birds and animals and stuff earlier. You know, when it got really quiet, maybe you didn't notice because you were very focused on what you were doing, but you notice now that you're thinking about it that it is very, very quiet.
That's
Oh,
not a good
hold on.
sign.
I'm sorry, you're in a tree. So there's one more thing that you should see, which is kind of
Oh,
important. It probably would have been the first thing you saw,
all right.
but like a classic module, I'll tell you the most important thing at the very end. About 15, 20 feet in past the 10 foot wall, you see what appears to be a spike, for lack of a better word. It's about, or like a post, like a fence post that's pointy at the top. It's maybe 12 feet tall. Most notably, though, there is a person on it. They seem to have been impaled. You know how that works. So
I know.
you see, well, you don't see where it went in, but you can imagine. But you see where it came out, which is in the neck. Um, and you can really see it because this corpse is lacking a head. It seems to be fresh, from what you can tell, and also dressed in a similar fashion to the one that you found dead. Yeah, and that's inside the. So you've got crumbly wall, then you got the 10-foot wall. It's like just on the other side of that. So you probably didn't see it immediately, but then when you got like really high up in the tree, you were like, maybe you were like, let me go a little higher, and you stepped up and you could see over that wall, and it was like, whoa.
Same clothes.
Yeah, you know, similar. It's not. Yeah, I mean, you
Oh,
don't know
sure. That's
you
what
don't
I
know if
meant.
it's you don't know if it's the same body or not without going closer to it, but it's dressed similarly in leather armor that's old. Uh, Although notably, this one is wearing boots.
He still has his boots, but
So
not his head. So still an unlucky day for that one.
right.
I will go back down the tree. And I will tell Orin, and it's a very bad sign if there's no animal sounds. And I saw something gruesome just past the wall. But if this is where they have taken Carla, we should check it out. And there might be treasure. You never know. Ruins. We've always heard the stories of the treasures that can be found in ruins.
This is true.
We heard them all the way here. So.
You have heard lots of stories about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So what do you want to do? You're kind of out there, formulating a plan or whatever.
Yes.
Uh,
I would like to. What I'd like to do is go up to the 10-foot wall, the one that's more intact.
mhm.
And I want to climb that and get on top of the wall.
Okay. So you're gonna walk inside the circle of the broken down wall.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
As quietly as I can.
Both of you, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Actually, give me 1 second. I want to get my voice is going. I want to get a drink of water. Oh no, and I don't have a "We'll be right back" screen, so you have to just entertain people. I'll be right back.
No birds, Orin. You best be ready with your magic.
You're not gonna do two different voices.
Well, that was just Una.
No, I know.
I'll have to come down here for Orin.
Right.
Because he
No,
has to
please.
be a deeper voice.
Yes, of course. Please don't role play with yourself. That would be.
I will try not to as often. I mean, sometimes I'm going to have to talk to him, but.
No. I'm just kidding. You can do what you want. I was just we were joking. Uh, I'm just being a wise guy. No, that was like okay. Yeah, so you step inside, and as soon as you cross the circle, um, into this broken wall, immediately you hear the sound coming from everywhere. You could from the center basically, but it's like it's booming. It's loud. You can hear two distinct sounds. One is a drumming, boom, 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 boom. Whatever drums sound like. And the other one is some kind of chanting in a strange language. It very much seems to be coming from from the center where the building is, and it's pretty loud. You would gather that it's got to be a decent amount of people to make that much sound. Um, yeah. So yeah, you're able to walk pretty quietly to the wall because it's pretty loud here.
I will ask Orin if he's ever heard this
Oh.
kind of chanting before.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, he can. I mean, he's a wizard, so go ahead and roll a straight d20. He can add any intelligence or whatever they call it in DCC. I always forget what they call everything.
It's intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes. 16.
Nice. I was going to say it's DC 15 because it's a little difficult. He's never heard exactly this. However, he's pretty sure that it sounds like some kind of religious rites that are often used when invoking magic. So he knows it's related to magic, but not like wizardly magic, more like clerical magic, he would imagine. And that, some kind of ceremony.
Oh. Well, if that's the case, maybe we shouldn't go in there and interrupt them. But I have to see. I'm a curious little thief. So she's going to climb, she's going to leave Orin at the bottom for now and climb the wall and see if there's anything else she can see now that they're closer. She has to climb sheer surfaces.
Yeah, I mean, as a thief, you can climb the wall, no problem. It's not going to be a roll for that. So yeah, you climb right up to the top of the wall. You can see now, of course, that dead figure a lot better because you're much closer to it. And you see sitting on the ground below it a pair of boots and a sack that seems to have, like a coin sack. Beyond that, like I said, there's a bunch of buildings. You're kind of looking around the crumbled buildings. They all look basically deserted, from what you can tell. And of course, you can hear the sound. It seems very clearly to be coming from that central building.
The tower with the bronze doors?
Yeah, with the bronze doors. It's about 30 foot tall. It's square, basically, a squared off tower.
This wall, does it go all the way around this this place?
It does.
Can I walk, kind of crouch on the top of the wall? So of course people could see me, but if they're in the tower, they won't. Kind of go behind it and see if there's a back entrance into the tower or a window.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to like climb down the wall and then walk around on the outside and then climb back up, or you're gonna walk on top of the wall?
No, I want to walk on top of the wall.
Okay, yeah, you can do it. It's not the widest wall in the world, but it's like 4 or 5 feet wide, so it's easy to walk on. It's not like it's a problem. So yeah, you walk around. You can see that this wall is, it's old, but again, surprisingly in good shape compared to the rest of the stuff that's around. Maybe there's occasional like stone that you have to like step out of the way so it doesn't crumble or whatever as you step on it. But for the most part, it's easy moving around. And you do see as you walk around the rest of it that there's more buildings. Um, again, crumbled. There is into this area, so on this wall, you do see another entrance, just like the other one. It matches it exactly. It's on the other side. And directly across from it on the tower, you see another set of doors. So basically, the tower square on the side where presumably you left Orin. There's an entrance into the Walden area, and directly across from that is the tower door of bronze. You are seeing a mirror of it on the other side.
But the two bronze doors are the only way into that tower.
Well, there's two sets now. There's two on the side that you just walked over to, and two where Orin's standing.
No windows. Okay.
No, you don't see any windows. And you didn't really get up tall enough for the tree, I'm going to say, to be able to see the top of the tower if there's any entrance on the top. As far as you can tell, it's flat on top.
Fair enough.
But there could be an entrance. I mean, you'd have to get pretty high from the distance that you were at. You would have had to get like 60, 70 feet up in the tree to be able to actually see the top of the tower, probably. I mean, certainly climb up there. For that, you'd have to make a climb roll.
I'll go back to Orin.
Okay.
We'll go in and look at the boots. I'll climb back down.
Mm-hmm.
We will look at the boots and the sack.
Okay. Yeah.
Inside.
So you walk in and you see the bodies there, and it's dripping blood in a pool underneath it. It looks like maybe it's been here for not long. As it's still dripping. The boots look like he's wearing a pair of boots, and then on the ground are a similar pair of boots. Maybe they're a little bit nicer. There are nice boots though. I mean, you think that like of everything this person missing the head, this body has on it, the boots are probably the most valuable thing it has. Sitting on the ground, looking completely different than anything they're carrying. So maybe you would identify it as possibly came from the old man because basically it's like a silk pouch. Is a pouch with coins in it. I mean, you're probably not going to count it now, but you could tell because you already
No.
had a pouch of 60 coins. You would guess that this is probably at least double what you got.
Well, I'll take that to give back to the old man if nothing else. And we'll go up to the tower. We'll go up to the bronze doors. Are there any carvings or engravings on the doors that now that we're closer? Or on the
Um,
wall around it, like the lintel or whatever they call the
yeah,
archway of the door?
yeah, there are. There's some runes, like old ancient runes, strange languages. Uh, I'm gonna make have to make another roll for that. Orin, I think, unless you have a read language skill. Uh, but the wizard can definitely roll with a d20. Um, this is going to
All
be
right.
hard to read because they're very ancient. I'm going to say it's a DC 15 again.
No.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. Again, you would imagine that this is some kind of because the music is still got music. You can still hear the chanting inside. You're guessing it's some kind of religious thing, but it's really hard to say. It does seem to show some of the glyphs are like animal style. Like you see like many hoofed like men with with hooked feet and horns, and you see animals that have parts of men on them, and you know, kind of ape-like creatures that have multiple heads. Like you just see a lot of like weird like chimeric symbols, but you really can't make out what it would be.
And the drumming and the chanting is probably even louder here
That is
now, correct?
that is correct. It's louder and it seems to be getting more intense.
All right. Is the door locked?
No, you don't see any kind of lock on it. It just looks like it has big old handles.
I don't want to just open the door and announce myself.
Yeah, I mean, so just so it's clear, because I wasn't sure if I was super clear about that. There's two sets of doors. They're just on opposite sides of the tower.
If we go on the other side of the tower, is the chanting any less?
No, it's the same. But just so that
Same.
was clear, because I think there was. Just want to make sure I wasn't confusing when I said that before. It's like a mirror, basically. Yeah, but
Right.
you don't
No,
see
I
any.
got it.
I know you're looking for windows. Yeah, there's no windows as far as you can tell. And you do smell, I guess, because you're so close to it now. Well, besides the stink of like men, you do sweaty men doing ceremonies. You do also smell like incense burning and stuff like that. Like you can smell the what you would imagine for such ceremonies, like this kind of pungent incense type smell and smoke kind of from for braziers burning inside and stuff like that. You can kind of pick up that even outside you can pick that up.
Do I hear over the chanting, or do I hear at all the sound of a girl at all?
No, what you can make out though is there's definitely like it's like a call and repeat. Is that what I say call and repeat?
Call and response?
Call and response. Yeah, somebody's like ah, and then the other person's like but you can't make
All
it out.
right.
So that's what it sounds like to you. They're like everybody in the house say ho ho that kind of thing. But they're not saying that, of course. Well, you don't know if they're saying that or not. That could be exactly what they're saying. It could be a DJ. It's a house party. We don't really know.
Seems unlikely.
Eh,
I will.
it wouldn't be the strangest thing to happen somewhere.
No stranger than men turning or horses turning into men underneath me. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna do it. I'm going to try to grab one of the handles, or well, Oren's probably taller than me. He probably does it, and just open the door. But I don't want to just fling it open and announce myself. Like I want to kind of open it a crack and peek inside. If I
Okay,
can.
yeah. Yeah, you can open the door up a little bit. So they're big doors, but surprisingly, these large doors are like so well balanced that like you just grab it and maybe you think it's going to be hard, and you're able to just like open it like nothing, like it's like, and but you just open it in a crack. You can see that it there's the tower itself is not that big. Like I said, it's only like 30, 40 feet. So you see maybe like a 5 foot corridor, um, just a plain corridor, like 10 foot ceilings, but 5 foot in. It doesn't seem to be anything in the corridor, so you open it up and you can see. Um, Beyond that, you can actually see that there is a. It looks like it goes down because you can see the tops of people. Well, either that or people. They're people that don't have any legs. I mean, but you would imagine that it goes down a bit. It must be stairs going down or something. And you can see that there's a bunch of people, at least a dozen, maybe more, and they seem to be very deformed. They're kind of monster. They're not monsters. I don't want to say they use the word monster because you play a role playing game and say the word monster, but they're very monstrous. They've got like a very odd shaped heads, and like like hunched shoulders, and like some of them are throwing their hands up, and you can see their fingers. Some of them have like really short fingers. Some have really long fingers. They just look very like mutated and deformed, as they're kind of calling out to what is some kind of leader that you can't see because they're on the other side. You're kind of looking at the side of it though, so like you're looking at the side of the crowd. Nobody's looking in your direction. They're looking kind of well to your left, which is in front.
Okay. I
Oh, it's also lit in there by a bunch of braziers, as you can smell the stuff. The smoke wafting through in there, and you can smell the incense. And of course, there's enough lighting that you can actually see that on the other side is exactly the same thing. There's a bit of like an indent, and then you can see the other side of doors.
do I see the girl anywhere?
Not from where you are. You'd have to probably go in to see anything more. You can just kind of see some people going.
Right.
You don't even see the person with the drums. Wherever they are is not obvious.
All right. Wait here, Orin, and I will try to sneak closer.
All right. Now you're gonna sneak silently.
Yeah, now I have to.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty distracted, so this is probably just a DC 12 on your sneak silently.
Let's roll it. And I get a +3. No, yes, I do.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. 19.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just kind of like mosey up there really quietly to the edge. It's pretty shadowy in there. I mean, you're basically in the dark. I mean, I'm assuming you kind of go in and close the door a little bit, or maybe just open a crack. So you're essentially in the dark. So this will count as a hiding as well. Um, you can see. I mean, you're not going to take the time to count them, I'm sure, but you would think there's about 20 of these kind of deformed men in the space. You could see that what would be to your left as you're looking in. It goes forward a bit. You see, as I said, you probably figured. There's about 4 steps going down into like a lower area. To the left, so it's not actually up in the air for you because you're up top, but it's up in the air for the creatures. There's an altar, which is a black stone altar. You can see laying on it a young girl. As we are very old school, and you can imagine she's tied up and scantily clad, just enough to keep it PG-13. There is a man. Again, I say man very very loosely here. That kind of looks like those deformed people below, maybe a little less. He seems a bit taller, but he's definitely like odd looking. His body shape, anyways, you can't see what his face is like because he's wearing a mask. He is standing with his back to the crowd and to the girl. So you've got like crowd. I'm gonna go towards the guy. So crowd, stairs, girl, space, guy. He's looking that way, which is the way the crowd's looking. And there is a statue about 9 feet tall. It's sitting. It's a figure sitting on a like on a throne, basically. This is a man who looks a lot more like kind of a non-deformed man, like his facial features and stuff look more kind of like an average person. However, the lower half of him is is a goat essentially, and he does have horns coming from his head. he's sitting there. It's a statue, of course. It's made out of stone, and you can see that almost looks like it's been painted from about the chest down, so like splashed or painted or whatever with what is probably blood because it's like this dark black kind of dried matter. And you can see, of course, from your position that the altar that the girl is laying on, right underneath it on the ground is like a bowl. Let's see, what else do you see? Also, all of these people here have around their waists, basically positioned just to keep it PG-13 because they're basically naked. Um, they've got the most interesting fanny packs you've ever seen. Um, they're human skulls. So everybody's wearing a human skull that's dangling just in front of the parts that you don't want to show, including this guy. Except this guy up front that's doing the ceremony, his human skull is still got flesh and hair and everything on it. It basically is, you could imagine from this the guy on
The
in the park.
poor impaled person out front.
I almost said in the parking. I don't want to say I almost said the parking lot. I know I said that. The guy in the parking lot. Everybody else's skulls though are like painted with very basic paint, like they're colorful. They're blue or red or whatever. And they're not paying any attention to you. They're chanting. What else can you see? Of course, like I said, the door across from you is the same. Behind this whole mess that's going on, there's actually like a bit of an alcove that looks like it goes back into like, because this is only about half of the space. This is about maybe like 15 feet of it. The rest of the space seems to be like in a separate room, for lack of a better word. There's like a doorway leading into another spot that you can't really see into.
Well,
Yeah, that's all that's going on right now.
that's all, huh? That's it.
That's all. Did you get all that? There was a lot of stuff there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, there are no men turning into horses, or horses turning into men.
Well, I have to get the girl. I'm a hero. Can't leave the girl to be sacrificed. All right. What's my plan? I'm gonna sneak back around to where I left Oren.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell him I need a distraction. You're good at those, right? So Oren will agree. And all right, I'm going to have him step out and cast Enlarge on himself. Well, I sneak around behind to try to get the girl.
Well, he's gonna like step out into the crowd and be like, "Hey," and get all big.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I like it. All right. So, I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do, but just because it's a new system, we're kind of. So remember that I gave you fleeting luck each time. So you got 3 points of that if you want to use it. In addition to that, you can spell burn, but you have to decide if you want to spell burn before you roll. You can use the luck after. Spell burn, you can give up a point of any of your physical stats to add +1 to your roll. But again, you have to do it before you roll, and you got to kind of say how you're doing it. So you're cutting yourself, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So like if it's important that you want to get a high score, you can do those things to do that. Obviously, that takes time to heal back. Otherwise, it's d20 plus your level, plus any int bonus.
Well, this is a big one, so I will spell burn.
Nice. Now, if you spell burn 20 points, then it's automatically a critical. Which doesn't, I mean, I'm joking, obviously. I mean, you can do that if you're watching, but that might be not a good idea. It's up to you. But yeah, you just decide how much
points, can't you?
Yeah, you can spell burn as much as you want. You can do as many points as you have. Just consider that, let's say you spell burn, let's say you had a 10 strength, and you spell burn 7 points, then your strength will drop till 3 until you heal. So,
right.
It's definitely risky, but, hell, why not? You can burn as much as you want, though. Oh, actually, that's so funny. I'm clicking on the spell burn rule just to recheck it, and literally it has them burning 7 points of strength. It must have stuck in my head. Yeah, you get one ability point back per day, per ability, as you heal.
All right. Where's my...
So how much are you going to do?
Yes, I'm going to spell burn 3
Okay.
agility points.
And you can spread them out too, by the way. You could do like one of each score. You could do 3 of each. It can be agility, strength, or stamina. And stamina, I should say.
All right. I think I'll stick with 3 agility.
Okay.
I don't expect him to be Dexy.
Yeah, like that
And
kind of like the gamey way to do it is to always look and see like well, how many you can lower without actually having a minus. Do one of these, one
correct.
of those. Yeah, right. All right. All right. Yeah,
And
let's do it.
he's going to take out a small hot iron, and he's going to just on his bicep just brand
Nice.
a big symbol of an X on
Nice.
himself, and as he's going to cast enlarge on himself.
All right.
And he doesn't even flinch. He just presses the iron to his flesh, and he doesn't make any noise to alert these people who are chanting and drumming. And Una
Nice.
kind of smiles as she starts creeping around back to where the girl is. And he's going
To the
to roll a
front too.
spell.
All right.
So I get 3 plus my int plus my caster, right?
That's correct.
No? Yeah. Nice. Oh, he rolls a 16.
Oh, nice. Total.
Yeah, total.
Okay.
But not as good as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But it's only 25%.
Well, if you get 32 plus, then you can turn yourself into a godlike proportions.
Right?
So what was it? 16?
Yes.
Okay. If you use two
I was
two
going to say,
points
can I
of
make that
luck,
50%? Yeah.
yeah. If you use luck, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that because you can use. It's not worth using 3 points because that'll only get you to 19. But you can use some of your own luck, and then you'll have 4 points, and you will double in size.
Yeah. I'm going to do
But
that.
but any of your
Just
own luck
20
that you
more.
use is permanently gone. So just keep
Correct.
that in mind. Okay. Yeah.
He'll use a point
Okay. So you're going to use the 3
of his
points
own.
of fleeting luck. You'll use the 1 point of your own luck plus a spell burn. That'll give you a total of 20. All right.
Correct.
Target
There's a lot
doubles
of
in
guys in
size.
here.
Oh yeah, there are. Target doubles in
So I
size.
will
Normal becomes ogre size. Nice.
I have to roll my manifestation.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh, I got your favorite, Daniel. 3. So you
Nice.
see, and this probably confuses the guys too, as Oren's going to step out into the group of chanters and drummers, and all of a sudden a bunch of tiny workmen appear, and they appear to chop apart his body and reassemble it to double. And he says, "Who has summoned me?"
Oh, nice. All right, that's pretty baller. Wow. Okay. That's probably freaked them out.
Ooh, I get plus 10 HP too.
Yes. All right. What's your make a charisma personality check? Just roll.
Roll under it.
No. Roll a d20 plus your personality modifier, and I'm gonna make
Okay.
that their saving throw here to see if they freak out.
Ooh, 17 plus 2 is 19.
Oh my god. Okay. Let's see if they can make it. Because they might start scattering like the wind here. Let's see. Oh, they rolled a 14. All right, so yeah, they kind of shit themselves a little bit, and they start to run, and it becomes a bit of mayhem, which is probably ideal for the for the thief who's creeping up there. Let's do a creep and see if you can get up there without the high priest there seeing you.
All right. Move silently. Plus 3. Oh my gosh, this dice nat 20.
All right. Yeah. So he spins around and like somehow his eyes are just fixated on the ogre, and doesn't even like see you like duck under, and you're like untying the girl. You can see that she's barely conscious. She's like, but she's just a little thing. You can probably with get an arm around her and help bring her out of there, but she's going to slow you down, and obviously you won't be able to hide if you're dragging her with you. Do you want to go back the way you came towards the ogre? Or do you want to run out the other door and have to go where other men are running, because you got those other kind of deformed men running in the other direction. Or what
Yeah,
else
I
did
want
you
to go
want to do?
away from them. So wherever they're
Well,
running, I want to go.
okay. So you're gonna go. That means you're gonna go towards your Orin, which means that it is gonna put you in sight of the priest because he's looking at Orin right now. So you're not gonna be able to sneak out. Basically, he's gonna see you. Yeah.
Maybe I can blend in then. Yes, with the men that are running. Not blend in, but maybe yeah. Just kind of go with them.
Oh God. I just had a shot of the dead moment. You're like, oh.
Exactly. Oh.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you can Shaun of the Dead it. Make a just make a roll. You can add whatever. I don't know. If you tell me how you do it, so you can add whatever stat you want to it. But you're gonna make a d20 check, with a 15 as the score. So if you can think of a way to use any ability you want, but justify it through role play.
All right. I see it. I can. Yeah, she will actually use personality to kind of try to act like one of these guys. And she'll say, "What have we summoned? We must get out! Get out!" Oh no. Nope. That's 5.
Oh man, you can probably luck. Because remember, you have a luck die, but it would take at least 3 dice. It would take at least 5 luck dice, right? Because you'd have to roll 3 on every one in order to do. No, you only need 10 points. Do you want burn luck? You could do it if you want. Because remember, thief gets theirs back.
She gets luck back. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you get a luck die every point you burn. So if you want, and the way I do it is you don't have to state how many. You can just roll them until you have enough, but just make note of how much you used.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. My die's a D3. Oh, 3. 4.
It's 2.
2 is 6.
Okay. It's 3.
9.
Oh man, 4. So 5 basically.
Yeah, 5 basically.
I said
yeah.
5. That was funny. I'm a psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your luck is dropped temporarily by 5.
Got it.
Which of course now will start making you make luck checks. which is probably what I should have done when you went in the first place, but I didn't even think to do it. Well, because you had sneak silently, so I figured it was worth. All right. So, anyways, yeah, you somehow, you yell and they don't know what the hell's going on. They're scattering. Yeah. You make your way.
In order to camouflage the girl, I'm like, look at what he did to Brenda here. We have to get out. Or whatever. I'm not good at names.
Oh man, that totally works. It's weird that her name is Brenda. It's like I mean, that's one of the monster names. Yes, you come out, and I mean, and as you know, because you had already circled around, that when you come out this other door, there is actually another gate going out there. All right, so that I'm gonna say that took a total of. Well, let's do this. Do you get out before the creatures get their shit back together? This is where we make a luck roll. But I'm going to have Orin make it because it's Orin who's going to get attacked. Probably. So Orin, now you want to roll under.
Alrighty. Let me grab Orin's.
Let's see if Orin gets attacked.
Papers everywhere. Where's Orin's? God. There's his sheet. There it is. Okay. All right.
Orin's banging his chest, scaring people.
No, I failed. 13 over 10.
Okay, so enough of them actually roll a d20 to see how many.
Okay.
Don't get a 20.
I did not get a 20. I got a 10.
Okay, so about 10 of them are getting wrangled by the priest, who is looking at you, of course, and he's going to have them charge at Orin. And of course, now the priest notices the girl's gone too, and he's also alerting to that. You hear all this, just basically as you get out into that courtyard, you can hear the high priest kind of organizing people, to get them stuff back together. So you don't have to pre-state this one, so we'll just say roll initiative, and then we will decide what everybody's doing. It's a d20. You'll roll for each of your characters, plus agility, I guess. They're on a 14.
15 for Yuna. And 14 for Orin.
Oh, okay. He's going simultaneously with the baddies. I guess I should roll once for the priest too. The priest got 16. Okay. Okay. Priest is going first. He sees the ogre and decides that he has to have a show of strength. So he's actually going to send a burst of evil energy at you. Actually, no, he's not. He's going to turn back, and you see him slice his. Oren sees this. You see him take like a flint knife and slice his arm open, and he starts rubbing it all over the statue and murmuring, some kind of magic words. Then it's Una. You're outside in the courtyard, and you can hear that they're starting to get. They're realizing they need to go kill Oren. And you got the girl. What do you want to do?
I want to take the girl out of this compound.
Okay.
Because I need to get her away from these guys.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that. Nobody's paying attention to you, so I'm going to say that it's going to take you about 3 rounds to get you out into the woods, which means Oren's on his own for 3 rounds.
That's fine.
Okay. And I'll let you go first, Oren, since you've got simultaneous initiative with the 10 baddies. So you got about 10 of these guys turning towards you. The priest is rubbing some blood on the statue. Nobody's really close to you at this exact moment. What do you want to do?
I want to take a chance. And I want to, as worms start erupting out of the earth, you just see them erupting all out in this temple. He's going to cast force manipulation and try to shield himself.
Nice.
I'm always casting all the spell.
That's what you do.
Gosh, come on, dice. Plus 2. Well, he cast he gets a 12, which means I can use it as a weapon.
Oh, there you go. Right? You can hurl it immediately, or you can hold it for up to 1 round per caster level. So you can throw it this round or within the next 2 rounds.
I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it right at the high priest.
Oh shit! Okay, and its range is 25 foot per caster level. You 100% can do that. I guess you need to. It says you have to hurl it, so you got to make an attack with it. It'd be a dex-based attack. Agility after that's what you burned.
That's what I burned, right? That's okay. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah. 14.
14. Let me see. Let's look the priest up. His AC is... Oh, that hits all right. Go ahead and do 2d6 damage.
Roll 2d6 points. Oh, yeah, 2d6. 1d6 per cast.
Yeah, you're 2nd level, right?
Yeah. Yep. 2 5s, so 10 damage.
Okay, go ahead and explain how you blow this priest apart with your force manipulation.
Yeah, so you see Oren the ogre at this point, the giant ogre-sized Oren. He starts you see his hands come together around what looks like a shimmering, when it gets really hot and the heat distorts your view. That's kind of what it looks like between his hands, just a shimmery distortion of force as he hurls it at the high priest, and it smashes him right in the chest and just breaks him apart on impact.
Nice. Yeah, he collapses to the ground. And bullshit. Do that. Do another personality thing. I'm gonna make that my base for the saving throw. This is not in the rules, by the way. I'm just making it up.
for Una or for
No, for Oren, because you just scared the shit out of these people. So, I mean, the high priest was regrouping them to attack you, and then you just blew him to pieces. So, I'm gonna give a chance that they're gonna be scared of shit again.
Well, I rolled an 18 this time, so +2 is 20.
Yeah, that's actually they can't succeed on that because I was going to give you a +3. So yeah, yeah, you do this. They turn around to go at you, and then they just see this globe of manipulated energy just blast past this priest and splatter him all over the statue, and they kind of look at each other, and then you're just like,
yeah. And they also have worms all over.
Yeah, there's worms everywhere. Yeah, they're. Yeah, this is not a civilized tribe. They are, and they're not going to attack you. They're actually falling. Some of them are falling on their on their knees, prostrate, and they're starting to worship you. Other ones are running. Um, some of them are like rolling around in the worms, like putting them all over their bodies, and like in like some kind of ecstasy of a religious joy. Yeah. So Orin is
Oh
now a
yeah,
god.
I am Orin of the cult of the worm.
Oh man. Yeah, they're basically yeah. I mean, some are worshiping you, some are. So by the time that's literally one round. So you just probably like, what the hell's going on in there? So another minute or so goes by, and she gets the child to the edge of the forest, and what's Orin gonna do? Is he gonna hang out there?
No, he'll start to. Well, can he fit through the door?
Yeah, it's a 12-foot tall door.
Yeah, okay.
So I mean, how tall are you?
I was picturing him about 6 foot tall, so he'll
Oh
have
yes,
to duck, but yeah.
yeah, you have to duck. Oh yeah, wow, yes, you grew taller than their god. It was only 9 feet tall. Yeah, I'm
So
gonna say
he's
that.
gonna start yeah, leaving.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that they're probably too afraid to follow you per se. But they, you can continue to hear them. Some of them chanting, some of them like pulling their hair out and screaming. They're just like they're freaking. They've now witnessed a living God. As you kind of
Right.
stroll out into the into the forest. I'm
Mm.
guessing since Orin didn't know about the other exit, he probably went out the way he came. Um,
Yes.
so you gonna circle around and meet him? Is that the plan, or you're gonna?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can 100% do that. It lasts for I don't know how long this lasts.
Enlarge.
Yeah.
Let me look.
I mean, it's a while. Uh,
Duration 1 turn per caster level.
oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's 20 minutes. So yeah, you're just stomping your way through the forest for the next 20 minutes. Maybe you carry the girl. She starts to come out of it. You get her a little bit further away, maybe then you stop and give her some water or whatever you do. And she pretty much confirms the story that the old man told you, that they were traveling to the south, and they were accosted by bandits. And apparently she tells you that that two of them took her, but when she finally awoke, there was only the one. And then he saw these walls and brought her here to, I don't know, maybe he wanted privacy for whatever he was going to do. And that
Right.
was a mistake, because yeah, basically he got his he the men came out and tore his head off, and she passed out. The next thing she remembered, uh, you know, you were rescuing her. So well done. I don't know if you want to try to go back and get treasure. Probably not, I'm guessing, as you're running.
No,
Uh,
I feel pretty good to have escaped. So
yeah, so you can very easily get back to where the old man is. It probably takes, that took several hours to get up there and all that to happen. By the time you come back, especially since you're a little slowed down, eventually she gets kind of her pep back. Um, and you meet the old man, who is, you know, joyful with tears in his eyes that you were able to rescue his granddaughter. And and he tells you, of course, to keep the coins, if you tell him that you have them. Um, and and that he's planning on heading to the south, to where this fabled land where you can trade a boat for horses. Of course, he doesn't have a
will
boat
you
now.
not need the coins though? I don't want to leave you with nothing.
Well, I have my granddaughter. That's all I could ask for. Um, now, I mean, I could use the coin, obviously, to start a new life with her, but you know,
You think there's about 120 coins you said in the pouch?
yeah. And if you ask him, there's 150 total, actually.
150.
Yeah, yeah.
I will take 50. I'll give him 100 back. I'm not going to leave him destitute.
Okay, very nice.
Not that kind
Yeah,
of person.
yeah. So he's super happy, and he tells you that that he's going to go back now and follow the path, I guess, further south. Um, and yeah, he's gonna hopefully start a new life with him and his granddaughter, and she is of course was impressed by your magic and skill, and the tales will pass on to the south of the mighty warriors and
Mighty Orin.
mighty Orin, god of the worms.
Yeah.
There you go. Excellent. Very, very good. All right. Well, I think we'll end it there. That was pretty awesome. And let's go like that.